Oh, what a night. In March 1987, a barge with 1,318 tons of trash sailed out of New York Harbor with the intent of dumping in the ocean. Greenpeace volunteers surrounded the vessel and wouldn't allow them to dump. This vessel sailed around the United States and Central America for 6 months trying to find someone to accept their trash, which no one would do. The vessel eventually returned into New York Harbor where the product was incinerated. But what this did was it raised national and international awareness that the United States needed to do something about their trash. Congress passed two significant bills. One, to force the states to take responsibility to stop incinerating solid waste, but more importantly, they wanted the states within a 3-year period of time to increase their recycling by 75%. For me, I was working in the paper and packaging industry, which I've now done for about 40 years. I was very fortunate to work for an Australian company who were experts in recycled materials. They invested about $6 billion into the United States, into recovery and waste and putting in paper mills that specifically were going to deal with recycled paper. I'm proud to say that boxes like this in the United States are now recovered to the point of 97% of those boxes are put into the system, creating 100% recycled new boxes. There are more trees here in the United States today than when Christopher Columbus landed, and I'm proud of that fact. We still have a few issues with regard to recycling cardboard, almost all of it around contaminants. So when you get a box and you put your plastic bag inside and put it in your recycle bin, it creates problems down the road. Do us a favor, separate those two items, and you can help paper and packaging. So I readily admit that plastic is the arch villain to my corrugated paper. But plastic bottles every single hour in the United States, 2.5 million bottles are thrown into the waste system. I didn't say the recycle system, I said the waste system. The problem that we have with plastic recycling is that over a period of time, as plastic is recycled, chemicals are released, and those chemicals are hazardous. Not only that, there's not a huge demand for recycled plastic. Who wants to eat something out of something that had been recycled? The other problem with plastic is you have to separate certain types of plastic. Some plastic can't be recycled in the same manner that other plastic can. So what ends up happening is people just throw it away and it ends up in our landfills. What you can do is separate your plastics, take them to the recycling centers, and allow them to do what they need to do. But the biggest problem that we have that you can't help is this: recycled plastic grocery bags. Those grocery bags stay in landfills for 1,000 years before they decompose. Every single grocery store that I've seen in the United States today has a box outside their door taking those plastic bags back to recycle. Do yourself a favor. Do not throw them in the regular trash. Take them to the recycle. Take them to the grocery store when you go back. Throw them in the box and let them get into a normal recycling facility. But the number one problem in American landfills today is food waste. 31% of all of the food that we buy ends up in our landfill. And when you think about the cost for the farmer to grow it, the energy, the transportation to get it somewhere, display it in the grocery store, you go to get it. Think about the waste that goes into that, and then it ends up in landfill. The number one thing that you can do is simply not buy too much. Buy one, get one free offers are great if you're going to use it, but if it ends up going in the trash, it doesn't help anything. So do yourself a favor and only buy what you ultimately are going to need. Another problem is when food starts to turn bad. We have a habit of simply saying, well, let's just throw it away. Believe it or not, potatoes like this are better if you saute them or fry them on the frying pan, and the starch is better than when the potato is fresh. But the number one item in our waste system is this little boy, bread. Leftover bread turns stale, it may get a little bit moldy, and people simply throw it away inside the plastic bag, and it ends up in our landfills. Do yourself a favor, feed all of the birds on the planet. All you gotta do is dump the bread outside, and everybody's happy. So we've talked about packaging, we've talked about plastic, we've talked about food. What can you do? Every little step makes it better. And remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Did you know that 1 ton of recycled computer parts yields more gold than mining 17 tons of gold ore? Have a good day.